Hey Scorpio, welcome back to Distilled Tarot. My name's Shannon. I'll be guiding you through today's reading. This is our daily reading for June 22nd, 2025. Let's see what's going on with Scorpio. The heart of your reading, we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. Someone might be coming back around to try and to try and finish some unfinished business. Pick up where you guys left off. But there's been a separation, some distance, some time has passed, or you could be the one going back to old situations to try and reconnect, revive, rejoin an old vibe in some way. I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with this attempt. We'll see how the reading shapes up, but I'm not getting any sort of like unwanted energy here. The challenge is the High Priestess. Listening to your intuition, maintaining a spiritual lifestyle. If you reconnect with a past version of you that navigated through the world differently, how are you going to reconcile that less spiritually connected side of you with who you've become and your current spiritual practice, perhaps? Like, say you used to date someone and it was good, but life led you on different paths. You went your separate ways. No animosity, you stayed in touch, you both ended up single at some point, and you decided to, hey, we're living in one town over, let's start dating again. Maybe in the past, when you dated that person, you weren't into, like, you hadn't had a spiritual awakening. You didn't do spell work. You didn't have candle rituals. You didn't meditate and use crystals. You hadn't learned Reiki. Whatever it is that you've adopted in your spiritual practice that might be what Spirit's talking about with this High Priestess energy. If not just that you're like more tapped into your intuition. I think there's more to it there, that we're kind of talking about this, making it an integrated expression of your lifestyle, like I'm a witch, or like whatever, however you sort of identify that side of you. What I'm getting at is highlighting an example of how this could manifest, where you weren't all about that life when they knew you before, and it hasn't been relevant to sort of involve them in your evolution, but maybe now that you're dating again, they're going to see like, oh, you have so many crystals in your room, or what's with all the pentacles, or, you know, this having to reintroduce yourself to someone who you care about and are trying to reconnect with in a new way, where it's like, how are they going to feel about it? How am I going to react to their reaction to me? Am I going to be able to embody this new version of myself in a confident way? Or am I going to soften it? Am I going to pull back on my spirituality because it's being met with uncertainty or wariness? Your focus is on the Seven of Wands in reverse. Either you are wanting to let someone in where you'd previously had your walls up, or you're wanting to compromise in some way, perhaps encourage them to break down their walls and be more willing to compromise on something. Let's see what led up to this in the recent past. Biding your time, being patient, nurturing something. In this example, this would be the time spent where maybe you FaceTime with that person once a year. Maybe you check in on their social media and congratulate them, or send them a happy birthday text, or whatever that, like, keeping the relationship nourished. Now, if this isn't talking about a relationship, there's nothing necessarily to indicate that that's exactly how these energies would manifest for you. This is just indicating whatever you had been spending your time nurturing. So the metaphorical garden that you wanted to grow. Maybe you planted seeds and they didn't require your time or attention for a while. You went off, had new life experiences or an adventure in another direction, and then you came back to see if those seeds had sprouted, and do they need fertilizer? Do you need to weed? Do you need to replant them in a larger area so they can expand more? You know, like, expand the metaphor there, and it's like, that could be just a project or a, like, maybe in your hometown you did some interior design work for some people, and then when you moved away you stopped doing interior design work, and now you visit your hometown and everyone's all abuzz with, oh, it's so-and-so, the interior designer, and you're like, oh yeah, I do have a passion for that. I haven't done it in a while, but I could take a look at your place. Yeah, sure, I'd love to hire you to do this again. That could be a way of this manifesting as well. One of the good things that can come from this, from your higher self perspective, is taking action toward a goal that is aligned with what you think and what you feel. Somehow surrounding the topic of splurging or being like opulent, luxurious, maximalism. We have the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Swords flanking the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. You combine all of this. It can be, so maybe this is you being very free with your spending, maybe overly so, not knowing where next month's bills are gonna, the funds to cover that is gonna come from. But I'm gonna buy that Prada purse and I'm gonna wear it and I'm gonna feel so proud and like I'm so fashionable, and it's gonna give me the confidence to go out and attract the attention of this guy, and then maybe these are like other characters who are drawn to that opulence and that flashy, big spender sort of throw caution to the wind, splashing your money around sort of vibe. If that fits your situation, I can see that. But more likely this is all a combination of different facets of you. The knights are the ones who take action and forge a path. The Knight of Swords does so intellectually based on what they believe. The Knight of Cups does so emotionally based on what they feel. But you're still at the heart of this, at the center of this, as the good thing that can come from it, splurging, overspending, treating yourself. A real splashy, spending the money on yourself sort of a thing. I'm not sure how that's gonna play out for you. But in the near future, we have you really exhibiting some self-control, some self-restraint, with the Strength card showing up. Maybe a skill that you've been working on, you're going to have a chance to really put it into practice and demonstrate your mastery of something. If the relationship example is more apt for your situation, the Strength card showing up in the near future implies that you're going to find yourself in a situation where self-restraint is called for, and you'll be proud of yourself that you held back. Something that's going to surprise you that you don't see coming is, I think, a literal child. Maybe this past person you're reconnecting with, you're going to find out has a kid. How else could this, I don't know, that energy feels really strong. Let me look at other potential interpretations. Someone could really throw themselves into a situation and play and have fun with it in a childlike way that takes you by surprise. I'm getting this vibe of like going on a date with your Knight of Cups, and you're walking by the river and they're suddenly like picking up stones and throwing them and like laughing and giggling and being very playful. I don't know why that example comes to mind. Seeing a softer, more like seeing someone's inner child shine through in a way that is endearing is kind of what I'm getting at. Because in that example, your perspective, the way that I was reading it, would be like, oh wow, I've never seen this side of them. It's so cute. It's so like innocent and pure, and like I'm glad that they're letting their walls down and letting me see this side of them. What are your hopes and fears? We have the World. So you really want to move forward. You want to leave the past in the past in some way, whether that's just leaving the old version of you in the past and really holding true to this new spirituality, this new approach to life. Or I think for some of you, this is really more esoteric, about like dimensional shift, like I really want to be in the new world, or I really want to live in 5D. I don't want anything that's going to hold me to the 3D world. If that's part of your story or belief system, I could see it being relevant in that way, or that message being the message that's meant to come through for you. You're really gravitating to this leveling up energy, but something about it is also making you wary. I think just because you're recognizing the gravity of the situation, the importance of it. Your end result, we have the sun. The clouds part. The sun lights the field ahead of you. You're able to see all the possibilities. You feel fresh and new. This is on the other side of that threshold. I feel like you leave the past behind. Whatever past iteration of that territory that you're coming back to, it's going to have this sort of overlay of fresh, new, like even like let's say you move back to your hometown. There's lots of old memories. There's lots of like ghosts of you, the past version of you, experiences that you had. But you are a new you, and the town has undergone changes, and there's a new pharmacy where the gas station used to be. It's like anywhere you go, there you are. You don't need to go to a brand new city to have a blank slate. So I feel like this fresh, new energy that's insinuated by the sun doesn't necessarily mean that you're not in familiar territory. It's the feeling that comes from within you. This optimism, seeing the opportunities and being excited for what lies ahead. Your advice is not to get swept up in the momentum. Don't feel beholden to keep a chain of communication going just because if there's been like communication back and forth and you are like, well, I ought to reply, but you're not actually feeling like you want to or you have anything to say. The Eight of Wands in reverse says that doesn't matter. If you don't have anything to say, then don't say anything. The messages don't have to keep going back and forth. You're not required to keep the momentum going. If it's not about messages and more about momentum in general, just like the actions that you're taking seem to be snowballing and pushing you in a certain direction, sometimes that's not universal flow, that you're meant to just lay back and go with it. Sometimes it's the result of past actions that are unaligned. Sometimes it's co-creating with other people in your environment who are unaligned. So what might be called for in your instance is stepping out of that momentum, allowing it to move on without you, and forging a new path, moving in a new direction. You're not required to sit back and let the momentum take you forward just because things have been set in motion. So, Scorpio, I hope this helped. Have a good day, and I will see you back next time.